Do you mind if I sit there? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Whatever
I
you
just
want.
feel better here.
Oh yeah, this is perfect. Nice chair. They're fuzzy.
Yeah, nice. Well, we had thought about, Jane and I had thought about doing a festival before, but not really very seriously. But once 9/11 happened, we said, let's really try and do it. We did it in 120 days, and it was, it just felt right to do at the time for Lower Manhattan, Tribeca, the area, and so on.
But you know, a film festival is a tough thing to pull off.
It is.
So you had to basically, were you calling in not favors, but were you sort of tapping into your roots in the neighborhood and kind of getting people to get on board?
Yeah, I mean, we called people we knew, worked with, people we didn't know, everyone, just to get it up and running, and the feeling was great. Everyone was willing to help. Everybody jumped on board. It was that was not a problem at all. So it was kind of, I'd say, by the seat of the pants, if you will. But it worked out. We had no idea that it would do as nicely as it is today, and as part of the fabric of the city, which I've always hoped it would be. So that's great.
I mean, in those early moments, it really was about getting up off the mat. Like
Yes, yeah.
And so instead of we think of Tribeca now with the Vanity Fair party, or you know, a lot of really sort of glitzy, glamorous parties, as well as, you know, interesting films. But in those early, in that first edition of the festival, there really wasn't like an opening party, or you know, it wasn't a party moment, right? You were having restaurants.
Well, there were parties, but they're parties because people celebrate their movies being made. They weren't like glitzy Hollywood parties. The Vanity Fair party was on for a while, then it sort of, for budget reasons, we brought it down. It was nice. It was kind of great, and not that big a deal, but it was nice. And then we had to let that go too. But yeah, it's not as glitzy as you would think.
So you had an interesting conversation with Alec Baldwin on ABC. I enjoyed that quite a bit. If you haven't seen that, you should definitely check it out. And I was interested in your response. You know, he's a New Yorker, you're a New Yorker, and he was talking to you about the city, because you've obviously been a real engine of revival of the city. And he was asking you, his feeling was maybe it's changed, not always for the better. And you were a little more sanguine. You sort of felt like change is what it is. And I mean, do you kind of look around at Lower Manhattan particularly, or the rest of the city, and marvel at how much it's changed?
Yeah, I mean, I people always say, well, it was like this in those days, and where are those days now, blah, blah, blah. And I just say, look, that was then, now is now. We have to deal with the present and move forward. It makes no sense to bemoan the past, if you will. And I never felt the past was it was okay.
Yeah.
Certain things. But now it's